I need to tell you something that happened to me 3 years ago, and I still don't have an explanation for it. I've told this story to maybe 5 people in my life. Most of them didn't believe me. One of them stopped talking to me afterward. I don't know why I'm putting this out into the world now, except that I can't carry it alone anymore. This isn't a creepypasta. This isn't something I found online and reworded. This happened to me, in a warehouse outside a small town, when I was 24 years old and desperate for money. If you're new here, subscribe, because I have a feeling you're going to want to see what else is on this channel after this one. Now, let's go back to that October. I'd just dropped out of a graduate program. Rent was due. A friend of a friend told me about a warehouse on the edge of town, Meridian Distribution, that was hiring night shift security. 12-hour shifts, 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., 4 nights a week. Pay was almost double minimum wage, which for a college town like mine was unheard of. The interview lasted 6 minutes. The manager, a heavy-set man named Wallace, barely looked up from his desk. "You scared of the dark?" he asked. I laughed. He didn't. "No," I said. "Good. You'll be fine then." I should have asked him why that was the first question. I didn't. I needed the job. The warehouse was massive, the kind of building where your footsteps echo back at you a half-second after you've already taken the next step. Rows of shelving stretched up 3 stories, packed with pallets wrapped in plastic. My job was simple: walk the perimeter every hour, check the loading bay doors, log anything unusual in a binder at the front desk. The first night was uneventful. Boring, even. I remember thinking this was the easiest money I'd ever made. Around 3 a.m., I heard something in aisle 14. A soft dragging sound, like a box being pulled across concrete. I checked it out. Nothing there. I wrote it off as the building settling. Old buildings do that, especially in the cold. I didn't think about it again until the second night. The second night, the sound came from aisle 14 again. Same time. Almost to the minute, 3:04 a.m. The third night, I decided to time it. I stood at the end of the aisle at 2:55 and waited. At 3:04, I heard it directly behind me. Not down the aisle. Behind me. Like something had been standing there the whole time and had just shifted its weight. I turned around. Nothing. Just rows of shrink-wrapped pallets disappearing into the dark at the far end of the warehouse, past where the motion sensor lights didn't reach. I told myself it was a rat. I wrote rodent activity, aisle 14 in the binder and clocked out at 8 like nothing was wrong. Pause here for effect before continuing. But here's the thing that I didn't let myself think about until later. Rats don't breathe like that. About 2 weeks in, I met the guy who worked the shift before mine, Desmond. Older guy, maybe 50, been at Meridian for 6 years. We overlapped for about 10 minutes during shift change, and one night I asked him, half joking, if he'd ever noticed anything weird about aisle 14. His face changed. Not scared exactly, more like tired. Like he'd been waiting for someone to ask. He told me that in the 6 years he'd worked there, 4 guards before me had quit without notice. Just stopped showing up. No 2 weeks, no phone call, nothing. Wallace never seemed surprised when it happened. He'd just post the job again within a day or 2. "Don't go past the yellow line in aisle 14 after 3 a.m., Desmond said. "Whatever you hear, whatever you see, you stay on this side of the line." I asked him why. He picked up his bag and said, "Because the last 2 guys who crossed it, I only saw one of them again. And he wasn't right after that." Then he left. He never explained what wasn't right meant. I never got the chance to ask, because I never saw Desmond again either. He requested a transfer to the day shift the following week and I couldn't get him to answer my texts after that. 3 weeks after that conversation, curiosity did what curiosity does. I told myself I was being an adult about it, that there was probably a broken pipe or a ventilation issue causing the sound. and that the yellow line was just some superstition that got passed down from guard to guard because nobody wanted to look stupid by admitting they were scared of a building. At 3:04 a.m., I heard the drag. I walked into aisle 14 with my flashlight up. The yellow line was maybe 40 feet in. I stepped over it. The temperature dropped. I don't mean that poetically. I mean I watched my breath turn visible in front of me, in a warehouse that was climate-controlled to 68 degrees year-round. At the far end of the aisle, past where the lights reached, I saw something at the height of a person, standing between two pallets. It wasn't moving. I told myself it was a shadow, a trick of the flashlight beam, a coat someone had left hanging on the shelving. Then it took a step toward me. I don't remember deciding to run. I remember being at the front desk with my hand already on the panic button, and I remember the clock reading 3:11 a.m. 7 minutes had passed that I don't have any memory of. I quit that night. I left the binder open on the desk, walked out the loading bay, and drove home without looking in the rearview mirror once, which, if you've ever been genuinely scared, you understand. You don't want to know what might be looking back. A year later, I looked up Meridian distribution online out of morbid curiosity. I found a single local news article from almost a decade earlier, before I'd ever worked there, about a seasonal employee who had gone missing during a night shift. The case was never solved. The article mentioned he was last seen near the loading area, in the aisle used for overstock. I don't know for certain it was aisle 14. The article didn't specify. I've never gone back to check, and I don't intend to. I still don't know what I saw that night. I don't know what happened to the guards before me, or to Desmond, or to whoever that missing employee was. What I know is that some buildings hold on to something, and some jobs aren't worth the extra few dollars an hour. If you ever take a night job in a building that's too quiet, and someone tells you not to cross a line, don't ask why. Just don't cross it. If this story got to you, let me know in the comments, and if you've had a real experience like this one, I want to hear it. I read every single comment on these videos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.